Hi, my name's Shane. I use they, them pronouns, and this is the 12th session in a game of Impossible Landscapes. I don't know if anyone is watching these videos, but just wanted to note for anyone who might be following along, because of the open hearth naming convention, I had to set a number of sessions for the videos. So this has been, X of 12, 1 of 12, 2 of 12. Now we're at 12 of 12. This will, well, assuming that the whole party doesn't die today, this will not be our last session. There will be more sessions in the weeks to come. So I don't know, follow the my YouTube channel. Does anyone do that? Or there'll be more videos in the Open Hearth, posted in the Open Hearth Slack, things like that. Speaking of Open Hearth, the series is organised through the Open Hearth gaming calendar. If you want to find out more about that or come play a game with us, check out openhearthgaming.com. And yeah, I think that's my introduction. So I might turn it over to the players to introduce themselves and their characters. Puckett, do you want to go first?
Hey there, I am Puckett. I use he, him pronouns. I will be playing Sarah Bradford, who is she's a weird one. She used to forge art back in her college days and got kicked out of Harvard and embarrassed her family and made a lot of money and made a lot of good criminal contacts, which have come in handy in the last week or so for getting bulletproof vests and automatic weapons and whatnot. But for the past 20 years, she's basically just been trying to live the life of a fine artist who's also a fairly accomplished occult researcher and trying to figure out what the hell happened to us 20 odd years ago. And right now as well.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Mark?
Hello, my name is Mark. My pronouns are he, him, and they, them. And I'm playing Elena Anisimov, whose pronouns are she, her. For many, many decades ago, I guess maybe 2 decades is not that many, but was a former KGB employee, anthropologist studying otherworldly civilizations, and is now married to Sarah and come together with their joint interest and experience with the occult, but probably not in a healthy way. But they're making it work. That's okay. Making it work. They're making it work. So trying to finally end all of this that they've been wrapped up in, and yeah, go from there. I'm a little scatterbrained today, so kind of all over the place.
That's right. Thank you. And Blake?
G'day, I'm Blake, he, him. I'm playing Felix Straussman, he, him, teacher, physicist, former criminal, and Delta Green agent. Awesome in all things. All right. Everything's going really well, so, we certainly haven't been shot or anything recently. It's all going good.
Well, it's been at least a day or two since you got shot, so I guess, it could be worse. We'll talk more about how things have been going in just a sec, but we'll have another question about how the influence of Carcosa is manifesting. Parts of the city, parts of Boston are disappearing, and nobody but you seems to remember they were there at all. Puckett, what's a notable spot that no longer exists, and what's in its place?
Bunker Hill's gone.
And what's where Bunker Hill used to be?
Somebody decided to put just like it's a vacant lot, and they just, for whatever reason, have kept it. But it's just an astronomically, unimaginably large pile of tires, which honestly, pretty frequently catch fire. And then it sounds like there's a goddamn war going on. And somehow the pile never gets any smaller, and the city never makes them clean it up.
Yeah, that is odd. Thank you. Mark, what's another part of the city that's disappeared?
Oh gosh, I have to fall back on my Fallout 4 knowledge of Boston.
Well, I mean, I assume that neither me nor Blake knows anything about the actual city of Boston, so generic
Okay.
or made up locations are perfectly welcome.
Okay, I'm going to say that Spectacle Island, which is an actual island in the bay, has disappeared, um, or rather has not disappeared, has transformed. Some pretty like gnarly landscape on there nowadays, and I think a general like malaise that comes off of it that people avoid going. Um, and you look at it just right, or rather you don't look at it just right, and there's definitely movement on the edges of your vision.
Nice, thank you. And Blake, what's missing and what's there instead?
I can't remember the name of the place, but basically the home ground basketball stadium for the Boston Celtics, however you call it. And in their place is a bunch of cabins with statues of Zsa Zsa Gabor out the front of them in various poses.
Amazing. Thank you very much. So, just to recap where we're starting off today, 20 years ago, you were all drawn into the web of a play called The King in Yellow. At the time, you thought you'd made it out, maybe with just some lifelong trauma to show for it. But you now know that you never really escaped the sort of orbit of Carcosa. You now know that you are the 4 Delta Green agents who escaped from the Dorchester house. Your allies have deserted you, or worse. The news is broadcasting your photos and calling you dangerous fugitives. Someone has gotten to your families. But as Blake said, it's at least been a few days since you got shot, so it could be worse. Felix is holding on to a set of papers that were written by a madman, apparently intended for a future president. Felix failed to deliver them to their intended recipient and barely escaped with his life after a teenage boy burned down his own home and fled. That means, of course, that you have not yet fulfilled the promise that Tara made to Louise Post in exchange for help escaping the Dorchester house. Your main hope at this point is the repeated phrase, "the only way out is through." You've rented some storage space where you plan to stage a performance of The King in Yellow yourselves in the hope that this will somehow help you to find the Hotel Broadalbin. And that it will not attract the attention of the gas mask shotgun wielding men who you know have been attacking performances of the play for at least 60 years. As we start today, it's around 8 p.m., I think. It's sort of like the early part of the night. Your cars are converging on a suburban address where Sarah believes that you'll find Barbados, not sure, a demon named in the Ars Gersha, who she hopes will somehow help you with all of this. Is there anything else anyone wants to ask or add before we start?
Wasn't Barbatos who we saw in prison, or is this a different demon?
That's Barbas. That's a different demon.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
Cool.
Anything else? We'll just I mean, I guess what happens is you pull up on a quiet suburban street. Sarah now has a trunk full of body armor and weaponry that, well, arguably none of you are really equipped to use, but you have it now. Sarah, you can sense which house Barbatos is in, and I assume that the 3 of you, get together probably in the car that Sarah and Felix were in to plan your approach. So, what will you do?
Now, doing
Get a
things
flak vest on first.
Yeah, I'll strap on my Kevlar, and then I'm just going to walk right up to the house and knock on the door.
Okay.
No recon.
Are you carrying like a submachine gun or something? Like, how are you? Is it just the armor? What does it look like?
I am just. I mean, okay, I've got a pistol on my hip, but that's just like. Come on, that's like bringing a cup of sugar to a neighbor in America at this point.
This is known as the Felix Gambit.
So Yelena, you also have some sort of body armor on. Are you carrying
Oh
a
yeah,
weapon?
I think I have my usual weapon with me, my previous one,
Yeah.
and because definitely not letting Sarah do this by herself.
All right. And
Just
Felix, yeah,
promise
go
me
ahead.
that you'll pick up one of the carbines because I Felix can probably manage a shotgun, but please don't let him use a carbine. That would be bad.
All right, I'll pick one up.
Is there a side entrance or a rear entrance?
So you're coming with the others, or you're just sort of scanning around? I
Or
mean,
do you want me to
it's a
drive?
suburban house. You can probably assume that there is a back entrance or a side entrance or something like that.
All
But
right.
Sarah and Yelena seem to have headed straight for the front door.
I'll sort of slowly make my way around to the side.
All right. Do you want to make a stealth check to see if you can do that without being noticed?
Sure. I'm sure. Oh, I've got 13. How could I possibly fail?
Well, you can
Like that.
also.
That's how I can fail.
Right, well, the good news is that your stealth will go up at the end of the session. So, all right. So, Sarah and Yelena, you approach the front door. You hear the quite loud sound of Felix sort of stumbling around not stumbling, but trying to move quietly in the dark without much success. Are you breaking down the door? Are you knocking? What's happening?
I'm knocking. I mean,
Right.
if this is in fact one of the princes of hell, manners will count.
All right. So you hear a dog barking inside, and then after a few moments, someone yells at it to quiet down or whatever. The man that you saw in your vision comes and answers the door. So he's in his 50s. He's a white guy. He's reasonably well dressed for, like suburban guy. He looks at you both in your body armor and visible weaponry. He says, "Oh, well, I hardly think that all this was necessary." Um,
It's not for you. I apologize. This must seem very rude, but we have had a very awkward few days with being shot at. So we simply want to make sure that should such a thing happen again, that we don't get killed for lack of shooting back. That's all. That's all. This is a social call. I come with all humility, and we need help.
well, come in. It kind of sighs. Says, "Look, to be honest with you, being shot is probably the best that you can hope for at this point. I don't know why you're so stressed. I assume that noise around the side is, well, either
That's
your friend
Felix.
or
He's an
whoever's trying to
idiot.
shoot you.
I'm really
Yeah.
sorry about him.
Shall we let him in?"
You could let your dog out and
Yeah.
let your dog have a chew toy for a little bit.
So as he's leading you in, and you see that it's not just a dog. There's like maybe 20 dogs just all over the ground. They're all lying down. Some of them start to growl as you come in. Uh, he sort of gestures at them, and they quiet down. He says, "Well, I hope it won't be necessary for the dogs to chew on anyone today." Um, and he'll go and open the back door and say, "You can come in," and then come back to the lounge room, sit on his armchair, and gesture for you all to take the couches.
So it seems like you already know why we're here.
I wouldn't go that far. Why are you here?
And at this point, I'm going to look around at Felix and Yelena and say, can we give him a 60-second rundown of what the trouble is? Like with the night floors. I mean, it's a really long story that spans over 20 years.
I have that background. You don't need to go over that.
Apparently, we just have to complete the King in Yellow, whatever the hell that means, to just be done with this finally.
like perform the play ourselves or something, and that way it'll stop messing with us.
Well, I assume you're here because you want something from me.
Well, also, has anyone ever said this to you before? Have you been approached about help with people trying to do the play before?
No, nothing like this.
Well, I had a vision about you, and it was extraordinarily clear enough that I could find your residence and I could find you.
He looks a little annoyed at that.
We could use help finding the Hotel Broadalbin. It's my understanding that you can reveal the past and the future, and you can lead us to hidden treasures. I mean, we're not. This might be a sort of a treasure, in a way.
I mean, I can tell you how to find the hotel, but you understand that I can only do one. You can only ask one thing of me, coming here like this. And I mean, is the hotel really what you want? I could, like, there's so much better stuff that I could do for you. I could teach you a word that dogs understand.
Lottery numbers? We could die rich that way.
Felix, lottery numbers aren't going to help us.
Could we just skip the hotel entirely, and you just tell us where to get to the Cave of Whispers?
Well, I mean, the only entrance to the Whisper Labyrinth that I know of is in the hotel. There might be other ways.
Okay. And
Well, why not
Felix,
just win the lottery, sit back, and enjoy the end of the world in style?
because at this point we would not be able to do that, because we would be taken into custody, thrown into a psychiatric hospital, and probably medicated until we're incapable of doing much more but drooling on ourselves.
You do make a good point.
And Felix, Yelena, please tell me if this isn't what we're looking for, but can you tell us how to get out of the mess that we're in?
Nobody can tell you that.
Does the Broadalbin seem like the best bet then? And I'm looking at Felix and Yelena.
Like, Abigail told us the only way out is through. Unless we just aren't believing that, then I don't even know what to ask anymore.
Well, that play that Guy and Criminals thing did had us going to Chicago. Do we need to look for something in Chicago, or is that where the hotel is, or is that just another illusion to distract us?
Is that what you're asking me?
Felix.
No, I'm asking my comrades first.
Please take your time.
We get one question.
Yeah.
Let's not make this one of those things like, wait, we only get one question? And he says, yes, and that's your question. Please, let's not do that.
Well, I'm not going to be unreasonable about it. Come on.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to look at Barbados almost with tears in my eyes and say, I have spoken with a number of princes and kings of hell recently, and I must say, out of everyone, so far I like you best. I realize that's probably not something that you care much about, but it's such a nice relief to find anyone in this mess that we found ourselves in, who's actually trying to understand and be reasonable.
He chuckles a little bit and he says, well, I'm not a prince of hell. I'm just a math teacher.
You're a math teacher with a significant number of dogs and quite a bit of information that goes beyond what one might expect a math teacher to have.
That's true.
Felix, I want to stress this to you. Our question is not going to be about math. Perhaps you can come back later and have a discussion about mathematics, but not now.
Oh, All right. Damn it. I was just going to ask him to. No, doesn't matter. We'll wait.
So, what question do we want to ask?
How to get to the Hotel Broadalbin, I think. Not just where it is, but how to get to it.
I mean, if we ask how to get through the Whisper Labyrinth, that might take us to the Hotel Broadalbin as well.
Well, he already confirmed that the only door he knows of is at the Hotel Broadalbin. So
Labyrinth. I don't like that word. Felix,
sure
do you have
it's
any
as
better ideas?
descriptive.
No, that's probably our quickest bet.
Very well. How do we get to the Hotel Broadalbin?
Well, you probably know already that the hotel's not really on Earth, this Earth. Darabondi called it a direction of desperation and flight, but what it means is that the only way to get there is to be chased there. You'll need to attract the attention of someone sufficiently corrupted by Carcosa that they will come for you, and then you must flee.
Wait, could we chase each other? Because aren't we corrupted?
Felix.
If you chased your friends with the intention of killing them, then that would work. You might still need to find a place where the veil between worlds is thinner. Sorry, I hate these cliches, but I don't know how else to say it in a way you'll understand. I have a few suggestions. Barbas made a machine called the Lion. It's been missing since you burnt his house down, but if you were to find that, it would probably work. There are the Yellow Nuns. They mostly haunt the Whisper Labyrinth itself, so it's probably hard to draw their attention. But if you want, I guess what you're asking is for something more specific. I know a way that you could attract someone who would chase you to the hotel if you survived the flight. There's a drug called Melonia. It brings its users closer to that place. If you were to take the drug in a location that had been specially built as a conduit for Carcosan energies, you would attract their attention. They would come for you. And of course, you all know of such a place. Sarah, you were born there.
I look at Yelena and say, why do so many things revolve around this fucking hospital?
Some kind of messed up thing. You make a place of healing to a place of whatever.
Sorry, I've been unclear. I don't mean the hospital. I mean the house where you were raised as an infant.
You know, I'm going to say it. I'm really starting to have some fucking daddy issues.
Well, maybe you should have asked me for the truth about your father instead of for directions that will only cause you grief and pain.
Well, anything you could tell me about my father would probably just, provide more grief and pain. So it's really, 6 or half dozen of the other, isn't it, at this point?
It's true.
So basically, all we have to do is get chased by people who want to kill us, and we'll find the Hotel Broadalbin. And that means that we could, in theory, find the Whisper Labyrinth. And
No, I thought we could take drugs and trip out going there if we go to that hidden hotel room or something.
No, I'm pretty sure the implication is we take drugs, sleep in Sarah's childhood home, or just hang out there, encounter this person, who will then try to kill us and chase us towards the Hotel Broadalbin.
Wait.
Elena's got it. I mean, you make it sound simple when you say it like that, but you also have the problem that you're far from Chicago and are wanted fugitives.
I mean, that is certainly something that we know. Don't
Felix
suppose you
could
have
get
a
you there.
plane?
I don't have a plane, but I have a mirror.
Hmm. Is it in the room?
Well, it's in the bathroom. There's one in the master bedroom, but I'd prefer you didn't go in there.
Okay.
Private.
No, fair enough.
You got your master bedroom set up like a dungeon, do you?
Let's not talk about it. You thought I was a prince of hell, so I think you could assume it was a little unusual.
Hmm. So if I can touch the mirror and we can step through, is what you're implying, or?
You know already that you can climb inside a mirror, that you can drag things in and out of it. Mirrors.
Yeah, I thought that was like one or two mirrors. I didn't think that was like all of them.
Any mirror anywhere in the world.
Hmm.
Well,
So, presumably there's a cost for all this information.
No. It's
okay, fine.
It
You
has
drive a
been.
hard bargain, but we'll let you keep Felix.
I mean, the cost will not be paid. The cost will not be paid by you. This is one of the gifts that's been bestowed upon the three of you. Maybe that's what you should have asked about instead of directions.
That might be referring to that, two-way war over reality or whatever you want to call it.
Look, I just want the chance to get old and die in bed with my wife peacefully at like 95 years old. That's all I want. I
mean-
don't care about wars. I don't care about gifts. I want life to be boring.
I think dying in bed with your wife is easily accomplished the way we're going, but getting old bit, I'm not sure about.
Okay, so then how do we make sure we come out at the right place?
In the mirror, Felix should be able to navigate just fine.
Okay.
You'll need to think about where exactly you want to come out. I mean, you could crawl out through the mirror in the Belfleur house, but I don't know if that's what you'll want exactly.
Have you got any photos of your old house, Sarah?
No. But I remember it all too painfully well. I guess we're doing this, so let me just grab the rest of the stuff from the trunk, because
I'll try and be discreet. I don't want my neighbours to see you bringing a case
that's
of
okay. It's in a bag.
I think Louise Post will be very unhappy if you do this without fulfilling your debt to her.
Fuck.
Well, we tried to, and then a teenager tried to set me on fire. And admittedly, that's not the first time a teenager tried to set me on fire, but it was rude.
It wasn't a teenager. I've already said too much. Do what you're going to do.
Okay, look,
No,
we already
it's
know
lovely
where
to meet
another
It was strangely-
Samagina is. So, but
Yeah.
we escaped from there.
It was
Jesus
strangely.
fucking Christ.
It was kind of comforting that it was a teenager, but okay.
Well, there's something else that we thought we knew that's wrong. So at this point, we can just add it to the rapidly growing list. But you do make a good point about the paperwork and post.
Mailbox.
That's not what we were told to do.
So, Sarah, just at thinking about Samagina, you'll be able to sense her location. She's in a hotel room not far from the the apartment that was burnt down.
And I'll look at Barbados and say, you say we can use any mirror anywhere in the world, right?
Well, Felix can.
So is this just one of those things where he has to think of the location, or he has to be holding on to a person who's thinking of the location, or the person or the whomever that we're trying to reach?
I'm sorry, I don't know too much about the details of how it works.
Right. Trial and error it is. So here's what we're going to do, because this sounds like, well, we're using the word plan very loosely these days. So but this is get the stuff out of the trunk. Yelena, is that something you could do? Because I think I know where Semigina is, and if we can travel through mirrors using Felix, we might be able to get her those papers through the mirror, and then use the mirror wherever she is to go to wherever we need to be.
Yeah, I relish having a simple task like carry some heavy shit.
This is one of the reasons I fell in love with you.
I'll go get it.
All right.
Felix, it's time to start getting weird with some mirrors.
Again. Okay. Sure.
All right. So you know the address of the hotel that you're going to, and you climb into the mirror and pull the other two in after you. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, I'm gonna look at some pictures on my phone or something and think about it and just try and relax. Try and put like a foot through and then pull them through.
Yeah, you easily do it. You easily pass through the barrier.
That's not comforting.
It's definitely not comforting. It's extremely cold inside and wet. But you do have to Sarah and Yelena, it seems like this impossibly vast space, like totally impossible to navigate. You can see in the very far distance the gleam of the tiny, almost imperceptible mirrors far away that could be other entrances. But for Felix, it's just clear, it's short, there's only one way to go. You immediately sense where you need to be. As you approach that mirror, you can see that it opens onto a dark bathroom, and that the bathroom door is closed, and that there's a light on the other side of that door. Are you going through?
Yeah.
All right. So the three of you emerge into a hotel bathroom. It's quite small and cramped, especially with three of you in there. You hear a man's voice from the room say, "What was that?" As your feet hit the ground.
Mr. Samagina?
Is someone in there?
Yes, I'm here to deliver some papers to you.
Who is this?
It's a long story, but they're from Louise Post. You can hear that
he's approaching the door.
They're from Louise Post.
Oh, it's you. You've really set me back with the house. God damn it. And yeah, middle-aged man opens the door. He's holding some sort of garment that he's been sewing, it looks like, sort of draped over one arm, and he reaches out to take the papers from you. You can see that there's a 2 foot by 2 foot hole that he's smashed into one of the walls of the hotel room.
Is that where you're going to put your little red door? And
Red door? What are you talking about?
no,
Felix,
It's the laundry chute.
that's what I thought.
Felix, we have other things to deal with. Let's just.
All right.
So we have delivered Louise Post's papers to you. We fulfilled our end of the deal, correct?
Look, I don't know what your deal is with Louise. She was sending me some papers. Thanks, I guess. You ruined my house.
Listen, there was a teenager who set your house on fire. That wasn't us.
I wasn't a teenager. And you'll just
Well, then
start
who the hell was it?
You know perfectly well that you can only ask me one thing. Is that really what you want it to be?
No, it isn't. Besides, I know good and damn well it was just an asshole playing Xbox. Does anybody have anything they want to ask him?
Well, remember, the only thing I can tell you about is dead people. We've been through this before.
Oh, Jesus, fuck.
Yeah. Who killed my auntie?
Delta Green killed your aunt. She saw the play. She was infected. They killed her and everyone else in the audience. They made it look like an accident. And he'll go on to detail the specifics, the time and place. They made it look like a car accident.
I should be surprised, but I'm not.
I am so fucking quit when we're done with this. If Delta Green ever calls me again, I'm going to shoot the phone that they called us on and move after I burn down the house.
Well, no, he won't say anything. He'll just take the papers, he'll put them in the pocket of the outfit that he's been sewing and walk back towards that hole in the wall and drop it down. Do you want to use the door?
No thanks, we've got our own. And I'll nudge Felix.
I'll quietly go back in the bathroom.
All right. So is your intention to come out through a mirror in the specific house that you're looking for, or do you want to try and find a mirror that's like nearby, or like how are you going to do this?
Because like I'm wondering, like, does anybody live in that house now? Maybe we should find that out.
You want to do some Googling?
I mean, we have phones, right?
Yeah.
We can Google from the fucking bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Felix, say, just give me a second, because he's upset about the news about his auntie. Although it was kind of not surprising, so he'll kind of collect himself if you guys want to you girls want to do some Googling.
I'll put my hand on your shoulder and say, Felix, if we find the person responsible, I suggest you take them into the mirror realm and leave them there. That is a thing you could do, yes?
Yeah. And I'm not dismissing your idea outright. But
it would be cruel, but also not technically murder.
Yeah. Anyway, let's do this.
I'm kind of hoping that by the end of this, none of us is going to have any of those types of abilities any longer.
Yeah.
Yelena, have you given any thought to the fact that your teammates all seem to have developed new abilities and powers and you haven't? Or you haven't discovered any yet?
I, like 2 seconds ago, thought about that.
Interesting.
And I don't think Yelena's the jealous type, but she is the curious type.
Okay. All right. So Googling, so it's called the Bellfleur House. That's the name it was originally given. Um, Googling is mostly going to turn up kind of like urban legend websites that talk about, alleged hauntings or strange phenomena there, things like that. But I guess you'll also be able to find some real estate records that show that it was sold most recently 2 years ago. Um, and I don't think, I think you probably can't find out just from Googling whether anyone lives there at the moment.
Real estate places, see if it was recently sold.
Yeah, so most recently sold 2 years ago. Well, it won't have a record if it was sold.
And if it was friggin' haunted, a regular ghost would be comforting at this point.
So maybe somewhere close to there so that we're not upsetting some poor family.
Like the nearest train station or something like that? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Felix, you're pretty sure you could do that? It's like 9 p.m. now. You may or may not want to wait until late enough that you're unlikely to surprise anyone in a bathroom that you emerge through.
Yeah.
Look, why don't we just go to the house? I mean,
Yeah, we got guns. It'll be fine.
it's also Chicago, so that wouldn't really be probably terribly surprising, but it might be easier for us if we just go directly there because there'll be less exposure. I don't know how widely we're going to be wanted if we're going to be wanted in Chicago as well as Boston, but considering we can travel mirror to mirror somehow, it makes a lot of sense to me to travel mirror to mirror in relatively secure settings, if that makes sense, with no outside exposure.
Yeah.
Right now, the bigger question to me is, how are we going to get the goddamn drug?
You're pretty good at that sort of thing, right?
You know what? You're right. I'm going to make a call real quick because I've got to know somebody who deals drugs.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So I'm rolling a 1d100, correct?
Yeah, just a criminology roll.
All right, give me a second here. I got to refresh the connection. Yeah, I made that one. That's 10 under. I think it's 70.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, you definitely know someone reasonably close by who you could score some drugs from.
So I'm just going to call him up and say, hey, listen, I'm going to ask you a really weird favor, and you have to promise never to say anything about it to me again.
Well, we're not going to talk about this on the phone.
I need you to put some M in your bathroom. Give me $1 now.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not going to talk about this with you on the phone. I've never heard of this. I don't know who you are.
Okay. Things are going to get real weird in about 10 minutes. So, my bad. But I'll see you in 10.
So the call disconnects.
Felix, I'm going to say a sentence that I'm pretty sure has never been uttered before in the history of humanity. I need you to take me through my drug dealer's looking glass.
Are you sure that sentence has ever been said? Because
it's close to Lewis Carroll, but I don't think Lewis Carroll.
I thought Woodstock,
Look, Jefferson Airplane, I'm pretty sure never said that either.
Okay.
I mean, I'd tell you to go ask Alice, but I'm pretty sure Alice is missing.
Or is Alice Abigail?
So this is the plan, to go through a drug
Go
dealer's...
through my dealer's
Yeah.
bathroom mirror.
Yeah. We're all going, yeah? We're going to stick together? Yep. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Just keep the guns down because, you know, I don't want him to think that we're robbing him or anything like that.
Yeah, so I guess you'll emerge. Where does your drug dealer live? What sort of place?
Semi-improved loft. So it's a nice open space, you know, lots of rugs, you know, it's got a hookah set up. But the one place in this entire flat that's has any amount of privacy is the bathroom. You know, you at least put some drywall up around it. You know, everything else is wide open, bed, kitchen, etc. But the bathroom is somewhat private.
Sure. All right. So you make the familiar, often, quite uncomfortable journey through the mirror. What's your dealer's name?
As I'm coming to the mirror, it's like, Jacob.
Sarah? Sarah?
I told you shit was going to get weird.
The weird part was you trying to talk about drugs on the phone. What is wrong with you? Know better than that.
Listen, I was trying to spare you from the real weirdness. I just wanted you to leave some of it on the fucking bathroom sink, and I was going to put some cash there for you. But instead, we had to do this.
So he like wanders into the room, wearing like a yellow t-shirt. He has like a tiny gold insect crawling around his face, and he says, "Look, give me the money. You can go back through the mirror or whatever the fuck you're into these days. You want what? Enough for 3 people? 4?
4.
Yeah. Have you used this before?
Nope.
Yeah.
Anything you need to know?
No, it's what? You can smoke it. You can shoot it up. You crush it up and snort it if you want.
What is the best way for newbies to take it?
Do you know how to fix? You ever shoot up before?
Jacob,
He looks
I
at all
thought
three
you
of
knew by now that I mostly just smoke weed and bake brownies.
Yeah, well, that's what everyone says, right?
Yeah, until they find out that they need to get some fucking esoteric, exotic shit, and then they don't know what to do with it. This is why I'm asking you. You're the expert. You're like a pharmacist here.
Look, I think the best way is to inject it. The best way, intravenous. But if you don't know how to, how to do that, it's
Do we
much
need
of a
to worry about
muchness.
overdosing?
I haven't heard of anyone overdosing. He's thinking about it now. He has a look in his eyes like he's considering trying to see what happens.
So, what's a newbie dose for injectable? And is it, we just like what? Put this in a spoon, heat it up, then put the syringe in, that shit?
Listen, if you don't know how to find a vein, then just snort it or smoke it. I don't want any of you to get hurt.
Of course. Okay. We just crush it and smoke it? Do we like what? Put tobacco in with it, or weed, or what? Or do we just smoke it straight? Roll it up, smoke it on what? Fucking aluminum foil, glass pipe. I mean, get specific,
Hot
Jacob.
knives. It'll work however you use it. There's no wrong way to take it.
Can we just fucking swallow this shit like it's a capsule or something like that?
I mean, I guess you could.
Finally, something easy. Jacob, you're a prince amongst men.
Well, enjoy. I assume you're going back out the way you came.
Yeah, we're trying not to cause trouble for people.
Yeah, I see that. Really do.
Hey, listen, at least this way, you can. There's not going to be any sign that we were ever here if anybody comes asking. You know,
Who would ask? Really?
I don't. It. It's been a weird couple of days, Jacob.
All right. Well, I gotta go. You gonna show
Yeah.
yourselves out?
You know what?
Hang on, where are we going next?
Give me an eighth of some like really chill weed, like just in case.
Well, the Maloney is gonna be free, but the weed will cost you, and there's a small transaction.
At this point, I don't. How many? Am I rolling to what? 1d4 on a
No,
bond?
I think no. It's not. It's it's not going to cost a significant amount of money to buy a little weed. So unless you plan to go into business selling the amount that you want him to buy to sell you, then you don't need to.
No,
worry
I
about
want some good shit. So
Yeah.
it's probably like $200 or something like that.
All right. So yeah. So you can reduce the bond by 1 to cover that cost.
I'm sure
You know-
nobody's buying weed anymore, not with all this like metaphysical shit going around.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Katie in a while, so I'll just
Yeah.
take it. I think she introduced me to Jacob, so
Right. All right. So Felix had asked where you're going next.
Chicago, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I guess bathroom mirrors seem to be our choice nowadays. So, with our luck, it's probably be some demon who lives there.
Look, in case you haven't figured it out by now, most demons are very polite, provided that you, 1, don't burn their house down, and 2, don't try to kill one of their pet humans.
I mean, it wasn't us. It was the not teenager.
But then there was Barbas. I mean, if we're polite and we remember our manners and we keep our guns down and we don't kill anybody and we don't set anything on fire, if there's a demon living there and we approach with proper humility and respect, then, I mean, you saw what happened with Barbados.
Hey, Jacob, you want a quick trip to Chicago? Come
No,
with.
I want you weirdos out of my house, please.
Wow, rude. Okay.
Felix,
Well, I think
Yeah.
I've been pretty. I think I've been pretty accommodating,
Jacob,
really.
you have been a prince. Felix is an asshole. If you want to punch him, go ahead. Be my guest.
I'm not being an asshole. I thought I'd give him a free ride. He gets a trip out through this mirror travel thing. I thought he'd appreciate it, but fine. Obviously, not a connoisseur of
You could
travel.
offer him a trip to someplace nice, like Ibiza or Nice or Hawaii or.
Listen, just get out of my house. Do I like? How much clearer can I make this? That's all I want. We're done.
Thanks, Jacob.
All right. So you head back through the mirrors. You're emerging in the Bellfleur house in Chicago. That's the plan, right? So as you approach the mirror, Felix, you can see that there's a person on the other side of it. He doesn't seem to see you. He's maybe in his mid-30s. He looks to be brushing his teeth.
Any other mirrors in this house?
Can we just wait a sec?
Sure.
Just wait for him to finish brushing his teeth?
Yeah, you see, so that's what happens. He finishes brushing, he cleans his toothbrush, rinses his mouth, leaves the bathroom, and turns the light out.
All right. Now just count to 5 and then step through.
Are you going to try and be quiet about it?
Yeah, of course. Watch me
So-
bugger this up. Stealth.
Can you maybe find a different bathroom mirror? Like, this is the one in the master bedroom.
Well, so you can have this conversation while you wait for the guy to leave.
Okay. Yeah, well, if there's another mirror nearby, if I can just kind of look around the area.
Yeah, so just thinking about it, you can sense where the other mirrors are in relation to this, which ones are in this house and which ones are in neighboring properties, things like that. You can.
This is not comforting. Jesus. All right.
I'm just thinking about where mirrors are likely to be in a house. So yeah, I think that you can find one, like a full-length mirror that looks to be in some sort of bedroom that's currently empty and dark.
Yeah, that'll do.
So the three of you emerge. I think you don't need to make a stealth roll for this. You come out reasonably quietly, and there's no one like it immediately outside the room or anything like that. So you're in a bedroom. The door is closed. It's fairly dark, and you can hear the sounds of like someone elsewhere in the house, maybe watching television, doing some unremarkable evening type stuff. What do you do?
Does this look like a guest bedroom?
Yeah, let's say that it does.
Okay, so we have at least a somewhat reasonable expectation of not being disturbed here.
Look, I'm not gonna answer how reasonable your expectation is. You hear someone sort of wail or cry somewhere else in the house.
Does it sound like a baby?
Make an alertness check. You can all
Yeah, I
make
failed that.
Do any of you succeed?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so yeah, you think, it sounds basically like a baby or a young child, something like that.
It's a disturbing way to explain it. Basically, a baby.
Yeah, it does seem like something's not quite as it should be. Like, you think it sounds like a baby, but
I'm just going to kind of look at the door and say, yeah, kid, me too. Fucking raising a child in this house. I tell you, Child Protective Services ought to be all over the parents for doing this. Felix, I'm going to ask a favor of you. If you can still travel through windows and shit when we're done, I want you to bring me back here so I can burn this place to the ground.
With the people out, sure.
Yeah. Well, at least with the kid out. If the father's anything like mine was, I intend to break his legs and throw him back in. Fair?
Remains to be seen, but yeah. All right.
So I'll just pat Sarah on the leg and be like, "It'll be okay." Let's just
I don't
take
like being back here.
Let's
It
just
feels
take our
wrong.
Right. Let's take our drugs, get chased out of here like we're supposed to, and we'll be done with it.
You know, under other circumstances, that'd actually be funny. But all I want to do right now is even with people in this house, I just want to fucking. You don't know what it was like growing up here.
No, I don't.
I had nightmares every night. I woke up screaming every night. And all
When we're
those
out of
years
this,
I wasted being mad at my mom and hating her when I should have been hating my dad.
when we're out of this, I promise I'll help you make it right.
All right. Anybody? Felix, you got a flask on you?
Yeah.
All right. Bottoms up with this shit, I guess.
So the three of you each swallow some of the Melonia. And we'll take our first break here and come back in 10 minutes and see what it does to you.
I'm back, Shane.
Cool.
I'm back eating something, so I'm sparing you all mouthful of food.
No problem. All right. So as you take the drug, all of you feel deeply sleepy, almost like consciousness is slipping away. And each of you separately experiences a vision of some kind. Felix, in your vision, you're in like a very elaborately decorated medieval bedchamber of some kind.
Okay.
There's a figure lying in the bed. It wears a crown. It wears a pallid mask, a robe. It's clearly the ruler, the king, whatever it might be. It's surrounded by medical attendants and other courtiers and so forth. The figure in the tuxedo, the velvet tuxedo, and the mask is here. Some others that you've seen during your adventures. And even though the king is wearing this intense mask, you can tell that he is very, very old and sick, dying, and that's why people have gathered around the bed. There's sort of hushed whispers in a language that you don't understand, and a sense that the king will die soon. And that's the vision that you experience. Sarah, your vision is less static. It covers more time. You see a young man named Tim Bale in Iraq. You see, or I think it was Afghanistan, sorry. No, Iraq. See him injured in an attack on his team that he blames himself for. See him moved to the hospital where he starts to receive treatment and get better. And part of that is that he starts keeping a notebook where he writes down the names of the people around him, writes down things he remembers about people that he's met throughout his life. Innocently, just as something to pass the time. But as the hospital itself gets corrupted by the King in Yellow, those names take on a power. And soon it turns out that what he's written is the origins of classical demonology. Yelena, you don't fall asleep, or you don't notice that you've fallen asleep. Your companions seem to have disappeared. Felix isn't there. Sarah's not there. But the man that you saw through the mirror before brushing his teeth opens the door and he says, "Oh, thank God you're here. My daughter is very sick. Please come with me. She needs some help." And he starts to lead you through the house, down to the room where you can hear these cries that are not quite a baby's cries. He leads you to the crib, and as you look over it, you see that the daughter is, well, it's some kind of a baby, but not human. It's sort of a sleek, black, oval-shaped creature, a bit like a baby whale, maybe, but with these big eyes and chitinous legs, dozens and dozens of legs. It has some sort of red-black crust around its eyes. It plainly is sick and in some pain. What do you do?
Oh, I see. So this is a lucid dream, or maybe not. Um, I think I'll look at the man and be I guess I'm just gonna play along actually. Um, like when did she start getting like this?
He opens his mouth to answer, and his midsection explodes as he's hit with a shotgun blast from behind. And you see the figure with the gas mask and the shotgun has just taken him out. He slumps to the floor, and the man sort of wheels around and aims the shotgun at you. What do you do?
Um, Exits? Is there an exit?
I mean, you can run, sure. All right. Sarah and Felix, you both are woken from these visions by the sound of shotgun fire downstairs. What will you do?
Shit. I'm just. I'm gonna sense some mirrors because I want a way out of here.
You can only sense the mirrors while you're inside them, so you can
Okay.
you can see the mirror in the room that you're in, but you can't feel where the other mirrors are. I mean, you know there's one in the bathroom at least.
Yep. What the hell's Elena's? All right, so I say mantle because I can't see her.
I mean, you can hear that someone's running downstairs. There's at least one more shotgun blast or gunfire. I guess you probably don't identify it as a shotgun particularly. But you know, I mean, you knew that coming here, your goal was to get chased out.
Awesome. Chased out where though? What, to a mirror? To a door?
Well, I'll come back to you in a sec. Sarah, what are you doing?
I'm out the door, shotgun at the ready, because somebody's shooting at my wife, and that is not something I'm going to tolerate.
All right. Felix, Sarah's gone tearing out downstairs. What are you doing?
I'm like following, but I'm not full tilt. I'm sort of cautiously looking around as I'm going.
All right. So we're going to be in initiative order for this part. So can you all tell me your dex scores?
12.
10.
My dex is 10.
All right. So sorry, that was Yelena and Sarah both 10.
Mhm.
All right. So Felix, you're going to get to well, actually, let's start with Yelena. I mean, that's the only thing that really makes sense because she took off first. So this guy is coming after you. You're on the ground floor now. You can see what's obviously a door to the outside. What do you do?
I'm just going to yell out to the floor, like behind me, like, run, chased! I'm being chased. We need to get out.
All right. And you're running as well. All right.
Yeah, I'm running.
Felix. So, all right. Felix, you hear the same thing. Yelena yells from downstairs, run, the chase is happening, whatever it is. You probably hear the front door open as Yelena tears through it. Are you following, or what are you doing?
Yeah, but I'll let them go first. So I'll be the rear guard.
Okay. Are you trying to fall in behind the shotgun wielding figure?
No. If I get a chance to shoot him, I'll shoot him.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, if you want, as you come out onto the landing, you'll see this man with a gas mask and a shotgun go chasing towards the front door. You want to take a shot?
Yep, why not?
Firearms roll.
3.
That'll
That's under
hit.
10%. Yeah.
We'll roll damage.
Good. I didn't write down my damage stats. Yeah.
You're using a shotgun, right?
I had a handgun, but all right.
So, I mean, I think Sarah suggested she was giving you a shotgun before. Is that right?
Okay, yep. All
Yeah,
right, well, yeah.
because
If I got an
I didn't.
upgrade, I'll
Yeah.
go with it.
All right. Bear with me for 2 secs while I look up shotgun damage. Shotgun is going to do 1d6 damage. Sorry, my mistake. Shotgun is going to do. Wait. There's like 3 different sets of stats for shotguns. I'm not used to games with such elaborate equipment lists. The shotgun's going to do 2d8, we're going to say.
Okay, that sounds better. 5.
All right. Let me see.
I'm kind of expecting his armor to take 3 or 4 of that, though, so. Damn it.
All right. So he's hit. He sort of staggers a little bit, but doesn't go down. And will, I think, wheel around to aim at you. And then it's his turn next. So he's going to take a shot.
Is there any furniture I can use for cover or anything?
So I was imagining that you've run out on a landing, so there's like
Yep.
a little bit of cover.
Yeah, from the bottom
like-
half because he's aiming
yeah.
up. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, so he's really off. But you also can hear footsteps from behind you. The room that you were just in that was empty a moment ago. Someone's coming from there too.
Yep.
Sarah, what are you doing?
So I know where Yelena was yelling from, right?
Yeah, so I think that you can head down the stairs towards where Yelena's just run out the front door.
And do I see this dude with the shotgun and the mask and everything?
Yeah, you can see that he's just wheeled around to take a shot at Felix.
Yeah, I don't like that. I'm going to shoot him.
What are you shooting with?
Shotgun.
Just curious. Okay. Yeah, make a firearms roll. So 2d8.
A second, did I? Holy crap! I made it. 19 under
I just
20.
assumed that would be a success. What's your firearms?
It's 19 under 20. I made that. I made it. So you said 2d6 for damage?
2d8.
2d8 for damage. That's 11.
All right. What does it look like as you take him out?
Well, it's kind of reminiscent of the basement of the McAllister building. The artist who was down there, it's just that it's a lot more abstract and it's angled, but it very much looks like action painting in action. Just this massive, well, it's abstract expressionist kind of. But yeah, there was a person there, or there was at least some entity that I was probably living, and now there's not. But they've left a really interesting piece of art on the wall of this building that Asa Darabandi made. So, killing somebody in a house built by a serial killer. I guess that seems appropriate.
Yeah. So Yelena, you'd made it outside, and now you've heard a few gunshots from inside, some screaming. What are you doing?
What does the outside just look like a regular outside?
Yeah, the outside's just like a suburban street. It's what I think we said it was around 9, maybe now 9:30 p.m. It's dark. There's some street lights.
All right. Seeing that, like, Felix and Sarah have not followed me out, and that it doesn't seem like this person is pursuing me any longer, I'll go back inside.
I mean, it's definitely not like the rounds are very short, right? So you've just heard like pretty continuous gunfire from inside. You don't have the sense that the pursuit has stopped.
Sure. Okay. Then I think I would probably, with that short of time frame, I'd probably still be running at this point before
All right. Cool.
I've keyed into any of that stuff.
All right. So Felix, another man in a gas mask and shotgun comes out of the room that you were just in. He'll take a shot at you right away.
Can I dodge by way of leaping over the balcony?
So you can dodge as an action, but you've got to be able to take cover. So I think, like, if you dodge by jumping over, that will work to avoid his shot, but you're still going to take 1d6 damage from jumping, like, from the top story. Which is better than being hit, but not better if he misses.
Yeah, I'll do that. All
right, so just roll 1d6 for damage.
Yeah. Come on. 1. Sweet.
Nice. So yeah, you do pretty well out of that. You almost land in the remains of the person that Sarah had just shot in the middle of the floor. And as you do, you see that the dead man on the floor starts to get up, starts to draw the shotgun around, getting ready to aim it at you again. What do you do?
Fantastic. Roll out the door, leap out the door.
All right, you're running as well.
Yeah.
All right. Sarah, you also see, so Felix goes tearing past you. You see that the figure that you clearly just killed is standing up again. What do you do?
Can I squeeze off another shot as I run past?
Sure.
Okay.
Go ahead and make an attack roll or a firearms roll, sorry.
It just barely missed.
Just barely misses. And then you take off running?
Oh, what do you mean take off running? I'm shooting as I'm running past him.
Okay, fair.
That's probably why I missed.
Yeah. It's definitely harder that way. All right. So out on the street, the three of you just take off running together in a sort of randomly chosen direction. Is that what's happening?
I'm running after Elena.
Yeah. Elena, how did you decide which way to go?
I think even still at this point, Elena is good at determining like what looks like safety. So whichever direction feels the safest, which would be like, is there cover? Is there like
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's quite a lot of parked cars along the street, so there's plenty of places to take cover as you go. Do you think that her instinct would be to run towards the city, which you can see the lights of, or would it be run deeper into the suburbs?
Because I think through all this time, like in spite of being, her life being threatened, like she's still thinking like this is what's supposed to happen. Like this is supposed to drive us towards the Hotel Broadalbin. So at this point, I think she just assumes that whichever direction she goes will be the direction she has to go. So, towards the city, I suppose.
All right. So the three of you are running towards the city. Along the street, you can see, lights coming on and things like that as people, hear these strange noises, this gunfire and things like that, which obviously is out of place in a neighborhood like this, which is quite wealthy. At the top of the round, Felix, you're going again. Are you just running? Sorry, I think let me just clarify the way the rules for this section work. Basically, it tells me that the only choice that you have each round is either to run or to shoot. You can shoot while running, but it will be at a penalty, or you can, decline to shoot and just focus on getting away. Which will
I'll just focus on getting away.
Okay. All right. So Felix is running. 4 of these gas masked figures with shotguns come running out of the door of the house. One of them is the one that Sarah had just killed. Like large parts of his head and gas mask are missing and mangled, but that doesn't seem to have slowed him down appreciably. Let's see. They're going to take shots at the 4 of you. Sorry, the 3 of you. 4, however many of you there are at the moment. So one is going to take a shot at Felix, the furthest away. And miss. One is going to take a shot at Sarah and miss. And one is going to take a shot at Elena and miss. And then we'll see there's a fourth one who's also going to get a shot off. And that will also aim for Yelena. And miss. Jesus. Shotgun men are not as terrifying as they want to be. So yeah, Yelena and Sarah, you both have the same initiative count, so whichever of you wants to go first is welcome.
Go ahead.
Run. I'm running.
All right. You take off running, Sarah. I assume that you're going to keep up with your wife?
I'm going to take another shot at him.
Okay.
I kind of want them to stay the fuck down, or at least not chase after us.
All right. So, yeah, go ahead and make an attack roll.
Total miss.
All right.
Shame I can only advance once.
So I assume that you're sorry. Are you like stopping to hunker down and take and aim and take a shot, or are you running and taking a shot?
No.
Backwards?
I'm running and just kind of like shooting blindly behind me.
Okay, cool. All right. So as the three of you run, let's see what's going to happen. So along the street, you start to notice people moving the other direction, like moving back the way you've come from. This sort of strange procession. They're all wearing hard hats and overalls. They're carrying pulleys and ropes and bits of gear. Some of them are pushing carts and canvas backdrops and things like that. It's almost like walking through a Hollywood studio in the 1920s, where people are packing up some sort of production. They don't seem to notice the shooting that's going on, or any of you, anything like that. Felix is away from his keyboard.
Sorry, I can respond.
So it's your turn again. Are you still running, or do you want to stop and shoot?
I'll shoot to give them cover. I'll make sure they're at front, so I'll be rear guard still.
Okay, so you're letting them get ahead. All right. So if you want to make a shot while you're shooting, it's going to be a firearms check at minus 20.
Yeah, missed, but that's all right, as long as it puts off the pursuers.
Well, it does. I mean, it really doesn't seem like they're at all discouraged by being shot at. They're still coming for you just as hard. They're all going to take shots again at the three of you. Actually, we'll just say there's three of them. It'll just make my accounting easier. So one of them takes a shot at Felix, and that will hit. So that will do 11 points of damage, minus 5 for your body armor, so 6 points of damage to Felix. How are you going for hit points at the moment, Felix?
He's got 8 out of 22.
After being hit or before?
After being hit.
Yeah. All right. So one of them is going to take a shot at Sarah and miss. And one is going to take a shot at Yelena and miss. All right. Felix is hit pretty bad. Yelena and Sarah, what do you do?
You know, I meant to ask this when we got back from break, but can I make a resilience roll?
Yeah, I guess that's probably appropriate.
Like taking drugs in the house where I grew up that traumatized me?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a 26, so apparently it doesn't faze me.
I mean, not that it doesn't faze you, it just doesn't, you're able to manage it.
Well, and plus after shooting a guy and seeing him get up and start coming after us again, you know, it felt appropriate.
Sure. Are you running or shooting or both?
Is Felix down?
Felix is still up, like hobbling along, hurt, but able to keep going.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to pause and actually shoot, and not this running shooting that I've been doing.
Okay. If you want, you can use a turn to aim, and then your next shot will be at plus 20%.
That is going to make so little of a difference, unless you're telling me that my next shot would be at rolling under 40 as opposed to under 20.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So I'd have to take this turn to aim and then take next turn to shoot.
Yes.
Elena, what do you think? You want to take a turn? You want to take a couple turns and like actually try to do some deterrence here?
I think Elena's like actually really focused on the idea that like the whole point of this is to be chased. Like there's no point to fight back in this case. I think is where Elena's brain is at.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and go while I think about it?
All right. Yelena?
Running.
Running. All right. Sarah, sorry, that didn't give you a lot of thinking time.
Felix, are you trying to get into cover, or are you just trying to continue running down the street?
I'll just continue running at this point because, yeah, we're outgunned.
So I'm assuming that like you're taking reasonable precautions, like you're running behind cars and things like that. Like you're not just standing in the middle of the street. You're all, taking this as sensibly as you can in the circumstances.
Yeah. I'm going to duck behind a car and aim for a turn.
All right.
And I assume that would give me a defensive bonus as well. Well, like in cover aiming.
I think that unless you take the dodge action, you're not going to get the benefits of cover. But I'm not too sure about how that rule works.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it makes sense that you'll get some benefits from cover. Not going to make it impossible for them to hit you, but a bit harder, unless they break off from chasing the others. All right. So Felix, it's your turn again. What do you want to do?
Is there like a shop or something with like a reflective window?
So I mean, it's a suburban street, so it's mostly houses around here. There's cars, but I think it's dark, and the cars are probably dark. I don't know. You probably can't get much of a. Oh, there's rear view mirrors if you want to try that.
No, I think more like a big front window or something that's reflective. But
yeah,
if it's not, they'll keep running.
Sure. Let's say that there is. There's a house like with the lights out inside, so the front big window does reflect. But when you look at it, you don't see the same sort of visual distortions that you do when you look at an actual mirror.
All right. So I think, damn it. All right, keep going then.
All right. So the static figures are going to make some attacks. One at Felix. That will hit. I hope this is not going to be the end of our friend Felix. That is 6 points of damage with your body armor mitigating it.
Got 2 hit points left. Bring it on.
Damn. All right. One is going to take a shot at Sarah. He's shooting with a -20 penalty for the cover. All right, that's going to miss. And one's going to take a shot at Yelena. And because Yelena's running, he also has a penalty, so that's also a miss. Sarah, another gas masked figure is going to emerge from the other side of the street behind where you're hiding and start coming for where you've crouched down and take a shot at you there. And that will miss.
Wait, we're back to 4 of these sumbitches?
Yeah. So, Yelena and Sarah, it's your turn. So, Sarah, you've been aiming, so I assume that at this point you're going to take a shot.
Yep.
All right. So, rolling at 20 higher, as if your skill was 20 higher.
God damn it.
All right. Are you going to stay in your position, or are you going to start running again?
I'm going to start running again.
All right. Yelena, what about you?
Is there still like the stream of like crew people basically like
Yeah.
coming down? Okay. And they're like carrying like sets and backdrops and stuff.
Yeah, and bits of like rope and odds and ends.
Okay. Anything significant on any of these backdrops?
I think they're like rolled up bits of canvas
They're
and things
rolled
like
up.
that,
Okay.
rather than things you can see.
Okay. As I like, but they don't seem to be paying any attention to us, right?
No.
Okay. As I like am running, like approaching one as I'm running down, I might slow just for like just a little to like just yell out Hotel Broadalbin, where? And see if I
Oh
get a
yeah,
response.
sure. Why don't you make a charisma by 5 check?
All right. Not so bad
Or
at
if
that.
there's a skill that's more relevant, but you're just trying to like get some help. So I think charisma by 5 makes sense.
All right, let's see how this goes. Pass.
So he just jerks his thumb like back over his shoulder, like the way you're running. Doesn't really say anything.
Right. Can I just yell like how far?
He's gonna say, just keep going, you'll get there.
Oh, God damn. Okay.
Felix, you are bleeding quite badly at this point.
Okay.
You're very badly hurt.
Yep.
You're just barely able to keep moving. Um, a man steps out in front of you. He is very well dressed. He has a finely sort of sculpted goatee. He says, you're perfect for this part. And he hands you a rolled up sheaf of papers. It looks like the script for a play or something like that. And then he just sort of vanishes into the crowd of crew who are passing you the other way. What do you do?
Am I still being chased and shot at, or?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Can I try and sort of have a quick look at it while I'm running?
At a glance, you'll see that it is like a play script. The title is Her Grey Song. But beyond that, you would need to like spend some, stop and take some time to see what it says. Or see what it's about.
I'll yell behind me. I'm going to be in a play, you fuckers.
All right. Well, it's the killer's turn now, so one of them is going to take a shot at you. Oh my god, Felix, you have the worst luck. That is going to hit. And it's 2d8 and you have 2 hit points, so there is no way that this isn't going to take you out.
I found a
Oh wait,
way out.
with your body armor, it will. Your body armor is going to make it okay. So the shotgun blast deflects off your Kevlar vest, and you're somehow able to continue. God. One of them is going to take a shot at Yelena. That'll miss. And 2 of them are going to take shots at Sarah. Oops, I accidentally rolled 2d20. Ignore that. That one will hit. So Sarah is going to take 15 points of damage, less 5 for your body armor. So that will be 10 points of damage.
All right, so that leaves me at 8 hit points right now.
Whew. All right. Sarah and Yelena, it's your turn. What do you do? Yelena, you probably just saw Sarah get shot.
Yeah. I think I am. I think I would come back towards it to Sarah. I don't think I would leave her after seeing that.
I think with that much damage, it probably knocks me off my feet. And you can probably see blood glistening under the streetlights.
Hmm. So I think that would mean I would probably take a shot at the one who shot her, or the one
Okay,
behind her, I guess, where
sure.
that doesn't get the
Um,
cover.
were you still carrying the carbine from before?
Yes, that was.
So as you aim, you realize that the carbine is gone, and you're holding the same gun that you used to shoot Barbas, and
Of course.
you don't need to roll. You take out the one that you're aiming at.
Wait, what? Okay.
Yeah. So now there are only
All right.
3 shotgun wielding figures chasing the 3 of you. The Sarah, what do you do? Yelena is, I assume, kind of helping you to your feet. You're hurt, but able to keep going.
Yeah. Well, if I've learned anything, it's that I probably can't fire a shotgun while I'm like limping along and leaning on somebody else. So I'm going to just put that over my shoulder, grab my sidearm, and shoot wildly in the general direction of the people chasing us.
All
And
right.
with a 20% penalty, I believe you said, for trying to shoot
Yeah.
while I'm running, that means I literally have 0 chance to hit.
Yeah. So Sarah's firing pretty wildly. Yelena has just made the most precise shot imaginable to take out one of the killers. Um, you you all have a moment of disorientation. You're no longer on a suburban street. It's like someone just suddenly pulled the backdrop away. You're in some sort of tightly winding corridors. Uh, it feels a bit like backstage in a theater or something like that. There are eyes watching you from the darkness all around you. There's ropes and pulleys and sandbags and all things like that. But still, the shotgun figures are chasing you. Felix, what do you do? Felix, are you with us? All right, maybe Blake's. Oh, yeah, no worries. All right. So Felix has somehow gotten lost, separated from you in the course of this bizarre chase. Sarah and Yelena, you're sort of staggering together through these tight corridors. What do you do? Oh, sorry. It'll be the shooter's turn
Your
first.
turn, yeah.
All right. So one will aim at Yelena. That is going to hit. That'll do. So after your body armor, it's going to do 5 points of damage. And one is going to take a shot at Sarah and miss wildly. Yelena, how does that damage hit you?
I'm 13 out of 20 right now.
How does it feel?
Not too bad. Feels terrible. Still, like, even though wearing the Kevlar, it's like getting like kicked in the chest. But
Yeah. So just up ahead, you can hear sort of faintly and louder as you get closer the sounds of voices, and they sound like they're performing a play. Like, yeah, you can, the intonation and things like that. You can't make out the words yet, but you can tell that that's what's happening. Um, are you both just running, or what's happening?
there's what, 3 shooters left?
Yeah, so one of them's like disappeared, gone after Felix wherever
Oh, right.
he's gone off to. So there's just 2 that you can see following you at the moment.
Well, I'm not leaving Sarah, so I will take a shot at another one.
All right, so you take out another one of them. There's just one left behind you. Sarah, what about you?
You know, I'm at least going to shoot at this static protocol operative to give Elena a chance to do whatever the hell she's doing that's actually making these people stop.
Okay, do you want to take a shot at 20%, or do you want to keep running and take a shot that's more like fictional positioning?
I'm going to actually take a shot at 20%.
All right.
And that is a miss.
All right.
I'm
So at this point, you're like, so as you run, as you shoot, you're coming up like to the back of the stage itself. You can hear that the players in French, I think, do I remember right that Elena speaks French?
Yeah.
So even quite quickly, you'll realize that this is a French language performance of the King in Yellow. As you rush out onto the stage, Felix also staggers out onto the stage from the wings. You see that it's a large theatre, a huge audience. You can't really see them because it's dark. On the stage, there's a dozen or so actors, all in very finely made costumes, elaborate stage makeup. You think maybe you recognize some of the performers. One of them looks very much like Barbas under the makeup. One of them who's not so heavily made up. Yelena, make an int by 5 roll for me. I assume that succeeds. You're pretty sure that's Makar Semenov, who you've seen photos of but never met, who was the original director of Project Carcosa in Russia or in the USSR. But more shotgun-wielding figures have emerged from the darkness behind you. There's 3 of them again. Maybe the ones you shot, maybe not. And they'll continue chasing you through the theater. So, Felix, what do you do?
Same as before. I'll try and get Sarah and Yelena ahead of me and keep going, keep moving away.
All right. So the audience in the theater is starting to scream, get up, run, flee in the chaos and the shooting and things like that. The
Wait, is my auntie here?
Well, there's hundreds of people in the audience. They're running in all kinds of directions. You don't see your auntie, but unless you want to I'm not even
Because
sure
when
how you
Bale
would.
showed us the exit, I stood next to where she sat, so I look in that spot.
You don't see anyone in that seat. Whoever was
Okay.
there has run.
All
But this doesn't look like the same theater.
Right. Okay.
So as you continue to run, Felix, you're trying to let the others get ahead of you. So let's see. 3 static shots. 1 for Felix. Oh no, Felix really has the worst luck. That is going to do 4 points of damage.
But not -2 now.
Well, you're on 0. It doesn't go lower than that.
Well, it just did.
What do you say or think as you die?
I found a way out. To quote Dark City.
Sarah and Elena, you see Felix go down, but you don't have time to stop and think because these figures are aiming at you as well. One is going to miss Sarah, and one is going to take a shot at Elena, and also miss. Sarah and Elena, what do you do?
Wonder if we could lose them in the crowd.
We can't save Felix, right? We can't.
Not while these people are shooting at us.
Then we got to get out of here.
We'll come back for him once we lose them.
So you keep running. You find yourselves once more on a city street. It's daylight now. It was night when the chase started. You think that it's New York. It seems more like New York than like it does. Well, certainly not suburban Boston. And in the distance, at the end of the street that you're running down, you can see a large old hotel. You can see the Broadalbin logo stenciled across the front. You realize as you run that the men with the masks are no longer chasing you. They are running alongside you as if fleeing something even more terrible that's coming from behind. What do you do?
Oh god.
I'm going to keep running towards the hotel.
Yeah, let's
because
get
that's
in the
where we're
hotel.
supposed to go.
Mhm.
All right. Well, in that case, you get to the hotel. You close the distance. Your lungs are burning. Your legs are aching, but you manage to get yourselves inside the hotel. You have a strong feeling that it was just in time. The uh, the gas masked figures do not follow you inside. And I think this is where we'll take a 5-minute break and pick it up after that. Blake, can I ask you? There is an option here to have you continue as Felix. Do you want to do that, or do you feel that it's like, is it a dramatic moment for Felix to leave and you want to pick up a different character?
It depends how much more the campaign is to do. There's only one more session. Let him die. It makes a reasonable story or whatever. But
I mean, I guess to answer that, I find it pretty hard to figure out how much campaign we have left. I'd say more than one more session, but no more than 4, I think.
yeah.
If you want to think about it over the break, you're welcome to do that.
Yeah. Give me a couple of minutes.
All right, cool. So we'll come back in 5 and we'll find out what's happened to Felix. Well, maybe.
I'm back.
Cool. Blake, what do you think?
Yeah. Go either way.
So I guess the idea is that, if you pick up Michael Whitwer, he's someone who has been involved with this stuff too. It's reasonable that he knows kind of what's going on, that he's also sort of trapped in all this. But if you want to keep playing as Felix, all kinds of dead people wind up at the Hotel Broadalbin, so it's certainly plausible that Felix's death has only been a temporary inconvenience.
However illogical, it kind of fits in with what's been happening. So I think we'll go that Felix rocks up a bit later.
Oh no! If Felix is here, he's been staying for a while. He'll be in the, in one of the armchairs in the lobby when Sarah and Yelena rush in.
Much better.
So your hit points will just go back up to their max, Felix. Your resilience will not increase. But certainly you see Sarah and Yelena rush inside, both of them badly bleeding, hurt, exhausted. What do you do?
I'll sort of raise a cocktail. Where you been?
I'll look at Sarah and probably just have nothing to say. Like, just,
At that point, I think I'm going to take that 8th out and roll one and light it and hand it to Yelena and say,
Well,
this
hang
might
on.
help.
The man behind the desk is going to call out and say, "Hey, now you can't smoke in here."
I'm going to raise my gun, not in a threatening way, but just kind of like holding it up
He's just gonna put his arms up, like I can't do what you want, and not worth, not worth my salary. And then just
And
sort
I
of
will,
nod.
yeah, and I think maybe just a moment or two of passing this blood back and forth.
Do
yeah.
do any of you want to attempt a first aid check?
I've only got 10%, so no. It'll make it worse.
That's a good question. Which of
I
us
can give
has
it a
the
go. I have 30.
Tara is the best equipped for first aid, but obviously is not here today.
Mhm. All right, I'm gonna give it a go,
All right.
and I
look at that
passed it.
All right. So that's going to restore 1d6 hit points for Sarah.
beauty?
1d6.
Alrighty,
Okay. Sarah, want to roll it or shall I?
I'll do it.
All right.
Ha
Yes.
Nice.
Good choice.
I think there is a penalty for first aiding yourself. Maybe there's not. Okay. There's no penalty for first aiding yourself.
Oh, I was first aiding her, but she was just rolling the die, the heal
Yeah.
dice.
I just rolled the recovery die.
Yeah. So, Elena, do you want to make another check to see if you can patch up your own wounds?
Yeah, I give it a shot. That is also a pass.
All right. So roll 1d6. Elena, not as lucky as Sarah.
That's because Yelena used the healing power of love on me.
Well, I'll ask the hotel
Right.
guy. Is there a doctor or first aid person? Got some bandages or something?
Yeah, so he's like edged over at this point. And he's looking down at Elena and Sarah, on the ground, tending to each other's wounds. It's like, geez, Felix, your friends are making a big mess. No, this I don't know. I don't think we have a doctor.
Felix, you're dead.
Oh, I was just having a brandy, and
I
yeah, I've
I
been staying
saw
in the
you.
hotel a while.
Those assholes with the masks and the shotguns killed you in the street.
In the theater, actually.
No, I was running down the street, and then I found the hotel. I couldn't see you guys. I thought you'd come sort of later. Yeah, I've been in a week or two. I don't know. Just
We
been relaxing.
just got here like 3 minutes ago.
No, I've definitely been here a week or so. Hey, you want some water? I'll get you some bread rolls or something to eat.
No, not water.
There's a kitchen in the hotel.
Yeah.
How about something brown that's at least 90 proof?
Yeah, I got that.
Jeez. How about, can we get you two checked in? Come over to the counter.
All right.
Yeah, if they could have rooms near me, that would be good.
Yeah,
And Elena,
we've got
Helena, say,
we've got your reservations all sorted out.
Elena, I wasn't imagining it. He did die, right?
Yeah. He did. Well, I guess one of him did.
All I know is that I want to sleep for a week and have a bath. A hot one.
So Elma from the front counter will offer you each a key to your room and some tokens for the dining room. And it sort of explains, look, so with the deluxe rooms, you get 2 free meals a day. You can come collect more tokens each morning. But yeah, go on ahead, go up and get some sleep. Bellhop. He like rings a bell and someone comes to take your large bag.
Right, the bag.
Felix, can I ask, have you just been relaxing for the time that you've been here, or have you done some investigation?
Yeah, Whenever I try to investigate, I'm thinking maybe I've been a bit foggy in the head, and I've just gone back to like eating and as if I'm a hotel guest.
Okay, cool.
That may go away. That's up to you.
Well, if that's what you've been doing, then that's what you've been doing. All right. So the bellhops take you to an old-fashioned elevator with an operator inside. He takes you up to the floor where your rooms are, and yeah, you can get some rest if that's what you want.
I look at Yelena and say, if I don't sleep, I'm going to collapse.
Yeah.
I don't think any of this stuff is going to make any more sense if we deal with it now or if we deal with it in 12 hours.
Baths first. We're both bloody.
Paper, rock, scissors.
You're like, let's see if this bath is big enough for both.
All right. So it sounds like you all take some time to rest and recover. If you've lost any hit points, you can make a con by 5 roll, and on a success, you'll recover 1 hit point when you sleep.
All right. Gained another hit point.
Did not.
Not so. Elena, doing it tough. All right. But the hotel is pretty quiet overnight. You're able to get some good rest. Do you meet up again in the morning, or what's the plan?
Yeah, I think I've ordered some breakfast for them, croissants and fruit juice and bacon and eggs, and they can big spread. They can take what they want.
Nice.
Is that sent to our rooms, or do we have to go down and get it?
Well, it's sent to like the corridor, and I'll wheel it in, and got plenty of grub here. Help yourselves.
This isn't going to be one of those don't eat the food in the underworld kind of situations, right?
No, I don't think so. I've eaten plenty of food here, and I'm fine.
I mean, besides you being dead, you're fine.
I don't remember that, but last night I had a bunch of dreams of that chase, and every one of them was different. So I'm not sure about. Yeah.
And I'll carefully look over the selection of fruit, and it's like, Yelena, I don't see any pomegranates. I think we're safe.
All right.
All right. So you have breakfast together, and then what?
I guess we need to figure out a way to find the entrance to the Whisper Labyrinth.
I thought it was the Cave of Whispers.
Whisper Maze?
God.
Why does everything have to have a big name?
Yeah,
right?
the first person said Whisper Maze, and you got to find out your bottle. That's your specific way to get in.
All right,
if I find out this is just some elaborate work of fiction that we're all living in, that doesn't even seem like the strangest thing.
You mean like the Truman Show, that sort of thing?
Maybe. Or maybe we're like literally characters in a book that somebody's writing, like some 13-year-old is with too much D&D background is like coming up with all this random shit we're supposed to find. We're on some quest.
Or this is the most awful Matrix.
Hey now, I really enjoyed the Matrix film, and I played D&D in high school. It wasn't that bad.
So you're telling me that you never subjected any of your players to something called the Whisper Labyrinth or the Cave of Whispers, or no?
No, it was always, the Cavern of Ultimate Doom and Destruction. It was always long-winded titles.
At least the Cavern of Ultimate Doom and Destruction seems to be kind of fairly advertised. Fuck. Is it wrong that I just want to sit here for a day or two and like eat food and lay about and take baths and do nothing?
I've been doing it for a week, so yeah, it's nice here.
I'll put my arm around Sarah and just say, well, considering it seems like time has no meaning any longer, or maybe never did, what rush are we in? We're already here. So let us take some time to recoup before what is likely to be more horrible experiences.
This is also why I married you. You have a very practical and pragmatic outlook. Since time has no meaning, it doesn't matter if we spend a couple of days fucking around. Awesome.
So what does that look? So obviously we can sort of skip over this. Does a couple of days just mean the two of you stay in your room and don't come out? Does it mean you like look around but are very careful not to sort of, accidentally embroil
I was
yourselves?
going to do that while they're chilling out, because I think my thoughts are getting a bit more coherent now seeing them, because I'm kind of reminded that, hey, wasn't I doing something before?
Yeah. How does that sound to you, Sarah and Yelena, that the two of you sort of recuperate and Felix will do some nosing around?
Perfect to me.
Yeah.
All right. So why don't you both just roll 1d6 to see how much hit points you recover? Like, we won't do a series of constitution checks. This will just cover the time that you spend recuperating. Felix, what do you do? How do you go about trying to figure this out?
I'm gonna look for like rooms that shouldn't be there and that sort of thing. I've got my funny goggles to look for odd things that are like in the visual spectrum. I don't know. I guess I'm kind of looking around a lot for things that don't make sense, like things that don't have a shadow, or things that move and don't make any sound, things that aren't normal.
Okay. So I think that the main things that you'll find, like searching around, is that there's a series of basements and sub-basements to the hotel, and some of them seem quite odd. You also see occasionally other guests from the hotel who are sort of skulking around the basements as if they're looking for something. But yeah, you find, there's like a laundry down there. There's, what else? There's, I don't know how to pronounce this word, an old-fashioned arboretum, some sort of, filled with overgrown shrubbery and wild plants.
In the basement?
In one of the sub-basements.
How do the plants get light?
Yeah, that is a great question. There's a ballroom down there. Yeah, there's lots of sort of increasingly strange and inexplicable rooms the further down you go.
I'll also ask around, is there like a performance or play area in the hotel?
You asking guests? You asking
the staff?
front desk guy?
Yep.
So Elmer says, "Oh no. I mean, we have a ballroom, but we don't have like a theater or anything like that." Why do you ask?
I had a great idea for a play. I wanted to have a practice, but you need a bit of room to, project your voice in that. You can't just do it in the toilet.
Well, what a theatre I'd seen would have been better off performed in the toilet, I tell you what.
Fair. But, yeah, all right. Is the ballroom used much, or? Can we hire it for a night, sort of thing? Or
Hire it for a night. I mean, you can use it as long as it's empty.
okay.
You tell me about your play.
I can't remember the plot now. The King in Yellow. It's about a power struggle.
I mean, you do still have a play script in your pocket that you were given during the chase.
Yeah. Also, well, this is it here. It's just some sort of rough notes. It needs work, obviously.
Yeah, it looks. It doesn't really look like it's for me. Um,
All right. Thanks for your time. I'll head back up to my room.
all right. So this is over the course of like a few days that you're nosing around. So, yeah. I mean, let's assume that you've asked some basic questions. So from now on, if there's something you want to know about the hotel, it's probably something that you've already figured out. Did you want to look at the play script that you were given?
Yeah. Since we've got a bit of time, I'll do that on the first night or whatever.
Yeah, so it's not exactly the King in Yellow, but it's obviously sort of based on it and connected. This focuses in particular on the Phantom of Truth, and it's about the Phantom of Truth's attempts to place someone on the vacant throne of the dying King in Yellow. And this, the sort of patsy that the Phantom of Truth is trying to place on the throne is described as the heir in the script. And every time the heir is named, it's underlined in red pencil.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll sort of read it and then I'll share it in case any of the others want to have a squiz. Which shouldn't be a stressful read, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's as stressful as any other King in Yellow related phenomena. All right. Sarah and Yelena, you have a few days to recover. Is there anything that you want to play out or describe about what that looks like, or are we just going to sort of skip over it?
What do you think, Mark?
I mean, I didn't have any particular scenes in mind.
I just figured there was a lot of food, a lot of baths, probably some cuddling and some giggling. Maybe
Absolutely.
watching some TV, whatever.
I thought you said bats for a second. Why would there be bats everywhere?
Because it's Halloween.
And yeah, Shane, that is, I absolutely agree with that song being played over the montage, 100%.
I mean, my gut check was going to be Sarah McLachlan or something suitably sappy like that. So, I mean, Lord is much better.
All right. So over the course of a few days, you start to feel a little better. Felix gets a better sense of the layout of the hotel, that the basements just seem to continue on downwards, getting stranger and stranger, that there's a ballroom that might be available for your use. There's all of those things. What's the plan going to be?
I just kind of look around at Felix and Yelena and say, listen, if I never make another plan in my life, I will be happy. I have no idea what to do at this point.
Honestly,
Isn't this
all it seems like is we... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, isn't this the place where we're supposed to perform the play and then that's it? Or am I out of sync?
We didn't get that much info.
Sorry, you cut out for a bit of that, Mark.
Oh, he said we didn't get that much information. We were just told that the way to the Whisper Maze was here. No further elaboration was given.
Felix, do you remember talking to Barbados? Guy with all the
Uh,
dogs?
Yeah.
So you remember that part.
Yeah, he wasn't the one in prison with the play box thing. He was the other guy with the dogs. And he
The
was
one where
pretty
you
nice.
just,
One of the nicer
yeah,
people we've met.
he didn't even turn the dogs loose on you and you were trying to sneak around the side of his house? That guy?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm still looking at you kind of quizzically,
Yeah.
trying to figure out how much
he-
you actually remember of what happened.
Yeah, he was one of the few people that didn't try to, like, imprison us or kill us or set our house on fire or any of that stuff.
When we were in the night floors and potentially somewhere else, we saw this place, presumably it was this place, through a crack in the wall. I wonder if we have to find something like that again.
Felix, you seem to be getting along or at least know some of the people here reasonably well. Do you think you could just ask them?
To try. Could have a chat with the front desk guy.
What and what's his name?
Alma.
Elmer. Okay. And I'm literally flipping through my copy of The Lesser Key of Solomon. It's like, finally, somebody whose name doesn't show up in this thing.
I mean, our names aren't there either.
Thank you, Felix.
Be friggin' freaky if they were.
Felix, I could write your name in one.
No, there's enough stuff happening. We don't need to add to the
Want to
pile.
be the demon of traveling through mirrors?
I'm more concerned that there already is one and that it's somehow infected me.
Please.
I haven't done that for a while.
That would basically make you a prince or a king of hell, which would be a promotion over assistant professor at MIT.
Sarah, as you flip through the Asgersha, like with every demon name that you look at, you have a sense of where that individual demon is, but all of them now just feel like an impossible distance away, like you've never contemplated such a distance before.
Huh. I'll relay that to everybody else.
Okay. So we're far from Earth, I guess, in a metaphysical sense. In a space, but not necessarily time way. I'm going to go and talk to the hotel lobby guy.
Go down to talk to Elma. By yourself, or is everyone going to head down?
I think I'll go down there, but sort of hang about the lobby area, maybe.
All right. I mean, there's
I
a bunch
intend
of
to stay in
desks
this
around
fluffy robe, until I have no choice but to take it off.
All right. So Felix, you go talk to Elmer again. It's like, morning, Mr. Straussman. What can I do for you?
I was just wondering how long's this hotel been around? It's it's solidly built. It's been here for a while.
Well, geez, I couldn't say. Long before my time.
Right. So you've never heard of people talking about it? Has it been repaired, or there was like an earthquake back 20 years ago or something, or no part of it got damaged? It's always been
Oh, geez,
pristine as.
we keep it in pretty good condition.
Okay.
Why do you ask?
I thought I heard creaking last night, and I just wasn't sure whether it's someone moving something heavy or whether the building itself. Or I've stayed in a few hotels, so I just wasn't. Yeah, this seems nicer.
It might have been the
Yours?
marionettes.
You talking about the laundry chute thing or something else?
No. And he'll gesture up to the ceiling, and you'll notice for the first time that there are these kind of recessed tracks all along the ceiling. And he says, "Look, there's no one around now, but some of the guests, they're marionettes. You know, they get dragged along these tracks at night. That might have been the creaking that you heard."
Look at you, Lena, like, what the fuck? Okay. And they're happy enough doing that, these guests?
Well, I don't know if they're happy. You'd have to ask them, I guess. They don't talk too much.
Huh. No, fair enough. Okay.
And so, sorry, I'm just going to go over to Elena for a sec. So, Elena, as Felix is talking to the hotel clerk, there's a few guests around the lobby, and one of them sort of gets up and turns around and looks at you, and it's Tim Bale, and he gives you a very superior smile. He says, well, look who turned up here.
It's like, Tim,
Elena, thanks for not killing any more of my guys.
it's like, oh, so none of those gas mask freaks were one of your guys?
Oh, the static? No.
Be like, so it's just some less than cordial hello? Like, what do you want?
Oh, well, I'm sorry to bother you. I'll go back to my drink. And he will. He'll just turn around and go back to his drink. Felix, you probably also noticed that Bale's in the lobby, sort of haranguing Yelena.
I'll wander over and I'll sort of point to the marionettes and saying, "Is this your work?" Or
Why do you guys think everything is my work? What did I ever? God.
I presumed a certain amount of intelligence and competence. Sorry, I thought you were proactively pursuing your interests. Are you here to perform?
I don't know what he sees in you.
I'll come back over and be like, look, I was a little rude. It's been a stressful 20
Life.
years. Sarah's the expert at you folk. I don't know. I'm guessing you know why we're here.
Well, I sure would like to talk to Sarah about it.
Well,
do our mobiles still work? Can't we call her?
Sure.
Oh, okay. I will call Sarah because I think Elena is still a call person. There'll be no texts.
Hey, hun, how's it going?
Like, well, uh, there's apparently somebody here who wants to talk to you.
Oh, Jesus
Our good
Christ.
friend Tim Bale is also at this hotel.
Does he want to kill us?
Doesn't seem so.
Not right
So
this
far,
moment.
he is still real snarky, but apparently would like to talk to you about what we're doing here. He's like,
Right.
I can't help it. I cannot be polite to them. I cannot.
Listen, I understand. Tell you what, have Felix bring up some pastries, some like tea time type stuff, and I'll talk to Tim. Just send him up and have Felix bring up some stuff to chew on and drink. That's
You wanna,
and don't let Felix do his normal Felix thing. Like, make sure it's actually good shit that we would want to eat.
Oh,
you,
shucks.
you wanna talk to him alone?
I mean, if you want to be here, you can. But like you said, you don't do a particularly good job of it. You don't necessarily
I
like
mean, I
it.
don't have to. I can promise not to talk to him. I could just be present. I could do that.
Present and quietly intimidating.
Yeah.
Would it make you feel better to be here? To be present,
Yes.
to be here and quietly intimidating?
Yes.
How can I
Feel like
deny you something that would make you happy, especially when you're just so good at it?
Felix, you notice Bale just roll his eyes at the words quietly intimidating.
Mm-hmm. So, are you here to perform the play or to watch the play?
It's unbelievable how ignorant you still are.
I know. Please feel inclined to enlighten us and help us drag us out of the mud.
You want to know about the play?
Yes, please.
Everything that you've known or experienced in your whole life is false, does not exist. And only now are you seeing the world as it truly is. The play is at the center of things. All the events and people and places in our world issue from it and not the other way around. It's like, that snake that eats its tail, that vomits and devours the world. That's
Uberus,
what the
yeah,
play
yeah.
is. You want to see the play? There's nothing but the play. The play is everything.
It's not exactly human-centric point of view, is it? Not that that's wrong. It's just takes a while for a human to get their head around. Speaking as one, I think. They said I died, but I don't know. I feel alright.
Yeah, you don't look dead to me. What made you interested in science in the first place? I'm telling you the secrets of the universe, and you don't even seem to care that much. Not very scientific.
I'm trying to pass it, and I don't believe anything anyone says on face value. I'm just that's an option, that's a consideration for me to look at, and I'll try and prove it or disprove it later. But I appreciate you taking the time.
Appreciate you taking the time.
I'm going to go get some food. You've got a high tea with Sarah. I'll go get some high tea food.
I will. I'll just be like, yeah. Sarah will talk to you. Trying really hard. Elena's trying really hard not to just like be as, if not more, sarcastic than him.
Nice. Oh, well, if I'd known I was having a high tea, I would have gotten dressed up nicer. He gets up, still wearing his hospital robe, hospital gown. And I guess you all head up to the room where you left Sarah.
Mhm.
Maybe this is no. Let's play this out. So, Sarah Bale comes in with the others with the high tea.
Him. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thanks for seeing me.
Well, you know, I felt like back at the hospital there was stuff that maybe we weren't able to talk about because for whatever reason, uh, wrong place, wrong time, wrong something. But
A lot's happened since then.
yes, a lot has. Felix, I wonder. First of all, thank you for bringing actual food. I appreciate that. Um, but I wonder, could you go back downstairs and just kind of keep an eye on things?
Yep. I'll keep an eye downstairs, have a look around.
I appreciate it. See if you can learn any more about these weird basements that you've talked about.
All right.
So, Sarah, you know how this works, right? You can ask me one thing, and whatever one thing you ask me, I'll be able to answer. So
As
if
long
you
as it's
ask me,
within your purview.
well, no. We're
Oh,
both looking for the Whisper Labyrinth, right? So if you ask me where it is, then we'll both know.
I mean, that almost sounds like you want me to ask you a certain question.
Well, you want to fight? We both want the same thing now. It's the smart thing to do.
No, I saw Felix die. This place is a bit unusual. He said he'd been here for a couple of weeks. When we saw him die about, well, if we discount the time skip, maybe 5 minutes before.
Is that a question?
No, those were all statements, actually. I was very careful. The devil is in the details. I look over at Yelena. Say, Yelena, what question should we ask our dear old friend Tim?
I'm trying really hard not to be rude.
You want me to step outside?
I mean, if you step outside, Yelena will probably just start talking about you using crude language. So, yes, if you could give us a moment, maybe take a pastry and a cup with you. I'd hate to be rude.
Yeah, he won't respond verbally, but yeah, he'll pick up a pastry and a glass and step outside.
Feels like a trap, Yelena.
Absolutely.
I mean, all I can think of right now is like being a kid and all those Brer Rabbit stories about please don't throw me in that there briar patch. Whatever you do, just don't throw me in that briar patch.
I mean, we don't know what these demons want.
No, we
Why
don't.
they are the way they are.
I honestly don't even know that we could know. We're talking about beings that operate on such a different conception of reality that it's hard for us to even grasp the simplest elements of whatever they have to communicate to us.
But so far, as far as we know, none of them have actively attempted to harm us.
They have not.
They've tried to stymie us for sure,
Yes, they have.
throw up barriers, but none of them tried to hurt us.
They have also given us mind-bending logic puzzles to try to solve. They have tried to expand our understanding of time and space and physics and reality. You know, the conversation that I had with Person on the street was of all the conversations that have ever been had, that was certainly one of them.
Based on how he talked downstairs about Carcosa and the play, I figure that at some point, if he finds his way to Carcosa, because we gave him the way by asking this question, when we get there, I think we're going to be working at cross purposes. I think he wants the bleed, the whatever. I think he wants whatever Earth to be subsumed, and we don't. So eventually we're going to have to face that. If we find the way ourselves, maybe we won't have to deal with him.
I could always just ask him to go fuck himself.
Be like, that was where I was going with it. It's a good question. Well, I guess that's also a statement.
Oh, no. I could say, can you please go fuck yourself? That's a question.
But at the same time, he may just find out himself somehow before we do. So who knows?
Dear, I love you, but you realize that the way that you capped off that idea basically just takes us right back to where we started from.
Well, let's do the practical thing.
And ask him if he can go fuck himself.
I was going to say we ask him where it is, and we just deal with him when we get there, because then we're dealing with the devil we know, so to speak.
You mean that literally and figuratively?
Pretty much, yeah. Works both ways.
I am really looking forward to a point in our lives when we don't have conversations like this anymore.
Right. We could talk about the roses we're growing in the garden, and what novel we're reading, or something like that.
The roses will be entirely you. I will listen and nod politely as you talk about them. But honestly, we both know that I'm going to do everything I possibly can to not learn a goddamn thing about roses.
Yeah, that's just another kind of forbidden knowledge. So,
Right. So we ask him where it is, and then he knows, and then we both know, and we have to deal with the demon.
I guess so. Maybe we can find out what Felix digs up in the basement areas before we ask?
I think so. That would make more sense. And, you know, I try to think of Person because I want to know where Person is at this moment.
Infinitely far away.
Would a summoning ritual be able to bring Person here?
You don't know. You could try.
Yelena, I think perhaps the thing to do, considering my condition, considering that I'm recovering from being shot, and I will cough dramatically as I say this, is to tell Tim that I'm suddenly tired and need to rest, and that we can resume this conversation tomorrow. Because I think a word or two with Person might be warranted in this situation, considering how helpful he was back at the McAllister.
All right. I'll go tell our friend to beat it
Be
in the
nice.
most polite terms I can.
Yes. Just say, I'm tired and need to rest because I've been shot and I'm still on the mend from it. But let's resume this tomorrow.
Okay. Done.
So you go and tell Bale, and he will say, it's fine, but I'm telling you, you're going to regret this. The other way is much worse. And he'll wander off. And that's where we're going to finish up for this week. So I will end the recording, and then we'll do stars and wishes.